Hello and welcome to another episode of Solo Inter Podcast. This is the review of our win against Bologna, ninth in a row, and didn't go as easy as expected. A tough match, but in the end, clean sheet and 3 points. With me, as always, is Parmeshwar and Manish. Hey guys, how did you guys feel? Manish, to you first. Like, what did you think of the match?
Yes, ninth consecutive victory. I think since Roberto Mancini's era, I think this was the first time we racked up 9 straight wins. It's good. It was a very tough match, challenging match. I think the players, the coach, everybody knew what was at stake, and everybody played very cautiously. So when this type matches, like these 3 pointers are really important. It's like a very tricky match, and that's a way. And since Mihalovic, with his history at Inter, he tends to perform always good against us. So yes, Bologna was a tough opposition. They had more possession. They had 57 possession. They had more passes than us, total 550 passes as compared to us 432 passes. And overall, it was a very tough and demanding match, especially after the international break. International break at the time where most of our players played represented the international teams. So I think it started off very slow, and I think Conti's tactic was pretty much, the interplayers preserve the energy, don't run around much. You could see everybody, a whole midfield trio seemed exhausted. Hakimi seemed completely off pace. This guys started to worry me now. But other than that, it was a very vital win. Lukaku with his goal, and you could see the final whistle after the celebration. Like pretty much, Conti lost it. Like he was jumping and celebrating, and I think all the Inter fans around the world. Uh, it was too much for us to take because it was quite tense moments, especially in the final moments where Brozovic was like completely. He also lost it. I think he was giving away tackles, stupid passes. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is good win. 9 points. Nine consecutive victory, 8 points ahead with the game in hand. Nothing more you can ask for my Inter fan.
Yeah, Parmeshwar, like in the preview we are discussing, and like I was pretty adamant that we won't keep a clean sheet because De Vrij was missing. And were you surprised at our defense because it wasn't a main back three? It was Ranocchia, but as usual, Ranocchia, according to me, is like he gives it his all. It never slacks off, but yeah, his skills are limited, but he gives his all the time. So our midfield and attacking weren't that great, but were you surprised with the clean sheet?
Yeah, I guess I was a bit surprised that we kept a clean sheet, but then the thing is, I'm not surprised with the way we played. Like, I was expecting the rustiness in the first place because you have to factor in that it was literally 20 days since we played, like, as a team. Of course, the international players, the players who went on international break played, but then, they were exhausted to an extent. You could see that with Barella, man. In the first 5 minutes, that guy misplaced so many passes everywhere. He was all over the place. We couldn't string a pass. Uh, First of all, our players were slipping around, and yes, I guess the pitch was a tad bit too wet because saw that on Twitter as well. Because literally everyone was slipping around, and I was a bit worried because yes, Ranocchia has stepped up whenever needed this season, but then again he also had that slight nudge on Musa Barrow initially, where I thought he's given away a penalty, and I was really worried. I was like, "What are you doing, man?" Like, and it was surprising because he started the game well, and then eventually in the second half, Ranocchia picked up really well. Again, there was one moment where he pushed up really high, and then Barrow turned him, and he had to literally drag Barrow to the ground. So that was my only worry, as we had discussed in the preview as well, because Barrow we know was fast and everything, and as I think Gautam we had touched upon in the preview, like I didn't expect Bologna to be the same as the first leg where Mihailovic was like because of the mole I'm changing my tactics and everything. They were aggressive to their credit. We had to sit back because, as Manish said, we had that rustiness. We had to save energy because we know whom we are playing next, Sassuolo. So in that sense, I think the plan was fine, and Bologna did give us a hard time. There was a shot that was taken straight at Handanovic. Not much of a worry, but he saved it, so that's good. And what else can I say? Bastoni, man, like one beautiful cross, he made it count, and I'm glad. I mean, Lukaku put that in somehow or the other after the header. So yeah, but overall, like yes, I've seen some people be critical of the performance, and I can understand that, but I think the fact that we've won our ninth game in a row, I think that matters more to me than anything right now, because of course we all know that we have to win any sort of match that comes in. Given the fact that Milan and Juventus both had drop points, we had to capitalize, right? And next game we won't have Brozovic, Bastoni, and Gazzetta dello Sport reported that even Perisic is not likely to be fit for the next game. So those are three huge misses. Considering all that, and Sassuolo is never easy. So if we do drop points there, winning this one was really important. So at least you have that extended gap to an extent. So overall, yeah, I'm satisfied. Yeah, I was happy. I was happy. Everyone worked hard, and especially I want to just give credit to one player is Lautaro Martinez. I think his performance goes unnoticed yesterday because he worked his socks off. I think he was literally in the left half space next to Christian Eriksen and Brozovic, covering every space before he got subbed off. He won the most duels also yesterday for Inter. I think his off the ball work rate is unreal, and I don't think it gets enough credit. And yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with him. And after that, perfect timing for the subs too. Darmian came on at the right time, and Alexis once again provided the right sort of energy after coming on. So overall, I'm satisfied. Or as I said, it's just the win that matters at this point, and yeah, I'm good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Manish, like Parmeshwar said, Luka, Lautaro Martinez helping out Eriksen and Brozovic. Like, how do you think like the mentality has changed so much? Like the final header was Lukaku's defensive header of the match, and you have Lautaro coming in and helping in the defense. It feels like we have 11 players in attack and 11 players in defense right now. Like everyone is all over the pitch and helping each other out. Do you think such a mentality is like it's Conte's grinded it into their head? Like you guys have to defend. Doesn't matter if you're a striker. You when you're off the ball, come back and help the defenders. And do you think this kind of mentality like helps with titles?
Yes, it's like end of the day, football is a team sport, and Conti is very particular to his tactics to the T. He's like every player from a defensive as in goalkeepers. You can see, I think first 20, 30 minutes, how many times that interchange with goalkeepers, Bastoni to Handanovic. So that is too much drilled into tactics. And talking about Lautaro, I think Parmesh pointed out very good. Lautaro had a very good defensive game. He covered a lot of area. I think Lautaro and Conti have an understanding such that Lautaro runs his socks off up to 60th or 65th minute, and then eventually substitution has to come for Sanchez. So I think pretty much that has been agreed. So Lautaro will give it all for the first 60 minutes instead of rather 90 minutes, and then also having the five subs helps. So pretty much that's a guaranteed substitution. We know on the 1 hour mark, like Sanchez is going to come on. So Lautaro gave it all. He did a lot of running. He covered a lot of area, which impressed me. Yes, and yeah, and I'm happy also when the team defends. I think Lukaku's the only one up front. Everybody, Lautaro included, is defending back. But yes, yesterday's game was a bit too Inter absorbed a lot, and it was pretty much let Bologna play the game. But saying that Barella had so many chances, I think, on the counter, so many. That was quite disappointing on Barella's side. He had, I think, 4 or 5 times with the ball, and he and Hakimi also messed it up a couple of times. Barrels messed it up. So we should have actually put this game to an end much earlier. That's the point is. But yes, a very good, solid defensive display by the team. I was happy with everybody. Everybody's work rate was good. Uh, Funny enough, Ashley Young also played well. Okay, not bad. His assist too. I mean, he and Bastoni combined for the goal. And for once, you could see Ashley Young passing forward. Normally, always he passes backwards. So for that was a good refreshing change. He gave a good through pass to Bastoni for the goal. But overall, a very good defensive display by the whole team.
And
Yes.
yeah, so also like, do you think this is the right time? Like Parmeshwar brought the thing up, but do you think it's the right time for both Brozovic and Bastoni to miss a match, like the fifth yellow card? Because if we had not won this, then there will be more pressure. Now going into the next game, we know we have an 8 point lead. So do you think it puts less
Right.
pressure on the players who are going to come in?
No, the thing is, this yellow card pretty much was not planned at all. I think it was one foolish pass by Brozovic, and then he had to stop it anyways. And he got yellow card. In the same, I think within the same play, when Bastoni got yellow carded. That was really foolish. So after Cagliari, I think the next game after Sassuolo's Cagliari, then comes Napoli, the big game. So it was anyways expected. So if not today, tomorrow, they were supposed to get suspended. So end of the day, no complaints now. We can't complain. Yeah, we Brozovic area is pretty much covered. The only area is for me concern is Bastoni, as we don't have much of a backup. So I don't know how Conte is going to shuffle that out because Bastoni pretty much we have only one solid left-footed centre back. I don't consider Kolarov as a proper centre back, so we just have one. In the right side areas we're covered. So I don't know what type shuffling Conte is going to do. Most probably he could also put Skriniar to the left and maybe De Vrij to the right and center Ranocchia. We don't know if he's going to do that, or will Darmian play as a center back. That see, the back three is very important in any team, and we, especially us, we play a lot from the back. So that is going to be big miss Bastoni's thing. Brozovic, I think pretty much he needed a rest because I think international matches he played a lot and he could see the rustiness in him. So I'm okay. Brozovic card, pretty much we have that area covered. We have Sensi, we have now Gagliardini, we also have Vecino back from injury. So pretty much a midfield is covered. Also, we have Arturo Vidal. So that area is covered. Only concern is with Bastoni and hoping Conti does something good in that
Yeah.
match.
Parmeshwar, do you feel losing both in one match is more of a problem, or would you feel this is an ideal situation where both the cards are like gone now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question because yesterday we were discussing this on Rahul's channel as I was live, and I had this perspective that yes, losing both at once is a bit worrisome, and it is in fact because, as Manish said, Kolarov is our only other left centre back, and he's not a natural left centre back. And the thing is that even he has a back problem right now, so even him being available is actually not a guarantee. So I was a bit worried about that, but then you also have to think from the point of view that as we look at the fact that we play Cagliari on the weekend, on Sunday, and if they get booked then they miss the big I'm not going to say not every game is tough, but then they miss the Napoli match, and we really need to win that as well. So you have to put things into perspective. I think uh, it's a tough one. See, because now we, as Manish said, we have Vidal back, so the midfield is sort of sorted. Like Eriksen, Vidal, and Barella can play, and yes, Bastoni is the bigger miss of the two, in my opinion. And then you have to look at the permutations Conte can go with. Since D'Ambrosio is now back, if he recovers in time, even D'Ambrosio can play as a left centre back because even though he's not as good with his left foot, he can still play there. At the same time, as Manish was talking about Skriniar being the left centre back, instead of that, De Vrij has actually played as a left centre back on a few occasions in his career, and he's actually the best of all with both his feet, barring Bastoni as well. So I think De Vrij could play on the left. Ranocchia gets another game in the middle, and then Skriniar stays on the right. That could also be another scenario. Or as Manish said, Darmian plays as the left centre back, but then we have to remember that do we let Ashley Young start against Sassuolo? Do we start Darmian at left wing back? There's so many permutations. Of course, we look at that into the preview. But just to answer your question, Gautam, I think yeah, it is a. I mean, one player at a time is always ideal. I know missing two key pieces like Brozovic and Bastoni at once is a bit of a worry. And yeah, because we all know that Sassuolo, they are a dangerous team. We know the players they have, Berardi, everyone. I don't need to spell that out. And yeah, and Brozovic's capabilities, he can win last ditch tackles, even on with the same with Bastoni, so it would have been ideal to have at least one of them. But as Conte said, in his press conference yesterday, it is what it is. We have to face the situation as it comes, and I'm pretty sure by this time, the team is mentally there. And we need to remember the fact that Brozovic and Bastoni, even Barella, have been avoiding these yellow cards for more than 6 game weeks. So in a way, they're mentally prepared for it. Like the team is like in a way that if these guys get booked, we know that the others have to step up. So it works both ways, and all we can do is we hope that it works out against Sassuolo because it's going to be a tough game.
All right, so let's get to the match player ratings.
Player
Starting with Handanovic. Parmeshwar, what would you rate Handanovic?
Hmm. So for Handanovic, I think apart from an early save, apart from a save in the latter part of the first half, and apart from a save on a Soriano header, I think he didn't have much to do. I think he commanded his area very well. He was pretty composed, and his distribution was also fine. And that's a huge thing. I know he's a veteran, he's experienced and everything, but coming back from COVID, it's never easy. So I think the fact that he came back from he recovered from COVID and put in a pretty decent performance, I'm happy with it. I would give him a 6.5 because he didn't have much to do, and what he had to do, he did a good job. So standard 6.5 in my opinion.
Okay, Manish, the back three of Ranocchia, Skriniar, and who was it?
We can go player by. We can go
Bastoni,
player.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, player wise. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So player wise.
Okay.
Player wise, I think.
So I'll start with, I think I'll start with, for a change, I'll start with Bastoni as man of the match. So I would give Bastoni 8 on 10.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
combined really well with that assist, and I think a couple of times he's been giving good crosses. Also against the Derby La Italia against Juventus, he gave a super
Mm,
long ball to Barella to score.
mm.
So after that, I think this is one of his best assists he did. And also defensively, he was very sound, and he's a gem of a player. You could see in the Italian game also, he had a
Mm,
clean sheet there also, and now again a clean sheet. So my rating is very high for Bastoni for this game.
mm,
Okay, so for Ranocchia, I'll give 6. I'd have given
mm.
5, but just because it's a clean sheet, I'll add one more and give 6 because,
Yeah.
yeah, as I said, like he gives his all. He might be limited, he might be slow, but he
Mm-hmm.
never slacks off. He
Mm-hmm.
might do stupid things, but like he's giving it his all. So I would give him a
Mm,
6 just because it was a clean sheet and a win. But
mm,
I would have given him a 5, but because of clean sheet, I'll say 6.
mm, mm. For Skriniar, the thing is with Skriniar, I think he was pretty good. I wouldn't say he was the best of the back three. It was Bastoni, of course, but with Skriniar, I think apart from that one headed error which he made, wherein Swanberg completely
Yeah.
botched that volley. But I think apart from that, he was pretty solid. He made that one last ditch interception, which wherein he fell badly on his back and he twisted his
Yeah.
leg. I was worried he was injured. But and that was one important tackle. And apart from that, also I think he handled that right side pretty well. He knew when to push up. He knew when to drop into the half space. I think he coordinated with Barella very well. I think he actually covered for Barella a lot in a way. Once Barella was out of phases in a bit. So I think I was pretty happy with Skriniar. And since you give Ranocchia 6, because I think Ranocchia improved in the second half. Even I was critical of him. But I think in that case, I would give Skriniar 7.5 because I think he was defensively really sound. And also, I think that interception that he made, wherein I just mentioned, I think that was really key. And I was just checking his stats. I think he made 7 recoveries yesterday. So I think considering how Bologna pressurized us yesterday, how well they played while attacking, I think he did a fantastic job.
Okay. And Hakimi, Manish.
Hmm.
Hakimi, for me, again, I had to say he had another very poor match. Hakimi, this guy started to worry me now. A couple of misplaced passes. He seems to lack the final ball. Also, his first touch seems quite questionable. So I don't know, is it because of the travel and international thing break, or he just needs a break? I feel Hakimi. So I would give a rating of 5.5 to Hakimi. And defensively side is okay, but offensive side he has to improve a lot because we expect a lot
Hmm.
out of him.
Hmm.
Okay. So for Ashley Young, I would give a 6 as well because,
Hmm.
again, he did his job. Yes, he was struggling a bit, but he wasn't that bad. And like you said, he linked up with, I mean, he found Bastoni for the goal when Bastoni assisted. So for that, I would say 6 for Ashley Young. So Barella.
I guess Barella, yeah.
Uh,
So just to add on to what you guys said, I think Manish with Hakimi, I think defensively it was one of his better games, but offensively, as you said, it was not on mark, like not on point at all. Because I think defensively he was fine. And Young, I think Gautam, I just want to add something because I think yesterday he got a lot of flack, but I think he was showing a lot of good defensive understanding. But I think he just got exhausted and eventually in the 60th minute, and they had to get Darmian on. But yeah, coming to Barella, as you said, as you pointed out, Gautam, I think you can see how exhausted he is. We all know he never gets a break, and you know why, because he's that good. And with Italy, he's played, barring the first match, he's played the full 90 in the last two. And yes, he was exhausted, and you could see that he couldn't string a single pass in the first 5 minutes. Even after that, is tackling recklessly and everything. And I don't think it was one of his better games, and it's fine, it happens. You can't expect him to be have put in a world class performance every week, especially after a 20-day gap. So considering all that, but still the performance on the day is what matters. So I think I'll give him a 5.5. I don't want to be harsh, but I don't think it was a good game from him.
okay. Manish with Brozovic.
Hmm.
Just adding to Barella's point,
Yeah.
Barella also for me was the second poorest after the game
Hmm.
after Hakimi.
Yeah.
This guy, I think for he's not yet ready to be captain material for Inter. He has to
Yeah.
mature a lot. You could see every now and then he was frustrated, throwing up his
Yeah.
hand in the air,
Yeah.
and that's not what you want to see in a captain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as a captain, now I realized he needs a couple more years. He's definitely a good player, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
He's a quality player, and his potential is very high. But
Yeah.
this match summed it up because completely he was quite offbeat. Obviously, he's been playing a lot, running around like
Yeah.
Parmeshwar said, but this guy needs a breather
Mm.
and also be very calm and composed. That's very
Yeah.
important. Okay,
Definitely.
so
Definitely.
talking about Brozovic, I would give similar rating of 5.5.
Okay.
For me, okay, he started off quite okay, but later on towards the end, I think last 10 or 15 minutes, he completely some even berserk. He was passing to the wrong team and he was doing stupid tackles, and he got a stupid yellow card, which was not needed. At like we had the ball under control, we just had to
Hmm.
waste time. We could go to up to the corner flag, but I don't know what
Mm.
happened. So that was like a very costly pass. It could be one of the costly pass. Like you could see that Milan Theo Hernandez passed like unwanted, and the other team punished him for that stupid pass. So we
Mm.
don't
Mm.
need any more risky players, especially at the end depth of the match.
Yeah.
Okay. So for
Christian Eriksen. Yeah.
Ericsson, yeah, Ericsson, I would give a 5 because yeah, I thought it was one of his tougher games. Like
Okay. Okay.
I mean, when the people around him are not performing, he could have stepped up a lot more. I'm not going against him. I'm not saying that he had a
Mm-hmm.
bad game,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when
I understand.
Brozovic was struggling, Barella was struggling, I think that affected his gameplay as well. Like he had to do the
Mm.
defensive work as well.
Mm.
So, and I
Mm.
don't think he was that prepared, like for the amount of defensive work that was supposed to be done. I don't think he was
Mm.
that prepared for it. So, okay, 5 is a bit harsh. So, but I'll give him
Yeah.
6 as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean,
I thought,
yeah. Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. No, you go ahead, Manish. Go ahead.
No, I thought from the three, Ericsson was better from Barella and Brozovic.
hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say
Yeah,
because he
yeah. I
was
think
more calm and composed.
considering that 6 is fine from you, Gotham. Because also I
Hmm.
just want to add about Ericsson Gotham is that yes, he struggled a lot. I agree with you. Like he even got dispossessed. Like I was just checking 12 times. So I
Hmm.
understand. But I think in the second half, before he got subbed on, he was I think passing out the ball very well. You know, he made one of those through balls to Hakimi,
Hmm.
long through ball, and I think considering all that, he bounced back well. And I think it was something similar to what would you say? I think Ashley Young's performance in a way, in a different way. I mean, but yeah, I think I agree with you. Like none of the midfielders stood out. It was just that Ericsson, I guess, was the best of the three. And I think Manish, I just want to add something before I talk about Lukaku. You said Barella is not captain material, and even for me, he isn't. And I agree that he needs to stop throwing those fits. But also, some people say, Brozovic is captain material. Of course, we follow a rule at Inter, but you saw that tattoo, man. He needs a degrade for he needs an extra deduction for that, man. What the hell was that,
No,
man?
but Brozovic was never a captain material. Again,
Yeah,
like
I know, I
Brozovic is
know.
the first person in the
Yeah,
hands throw up
I mean,
yeah,
he
I know.
had.
But
Second
yeah,
is
but
Barella, I think, following
yeah,
wrong
I think
footsteps.
he's like his last used emoji will be like his tattoo, I guess. I mean, he's just
yeah,
doing some random things.
yeah, exactly. I was like, what the hell, man? And people think this guy should be the captain. I was like, just
No, as for the
hilarious.
hierarchy wise, which
Yeah,
Inter
yeah,
follows, he is
yeah.
the vice
I know.
captain. That's by default.
Exactly.
I think that anyways you
Yeah.
can change it. It's not a
Yeah, of course.
compulsion.
No, I just found that thing hilarious when I was like, what the hell is he done? But yeah, coming to Lukaku, I think, yeah, again, Lukaku, of course, his goal was vital and everything. Good header, I think. But of course, Ravalia saved it. And I mean, Lukaku was there. You can always mess up those tap ins. You can always be under pressure, mess it up. He put it over the line, and that's what matters. So the goal counts. And I think overall, Sumauro did give him a sort of a tough time in 1v1 duels. But Lukaku's hold up play once again comes handy. And I think he was trying to create, he was trying really hard. But you could see, the international break did factor in. And I also just want to point a stat out for Lukaku. He becomes the seventh player to score 20 plus goals in two consecutive Serie A seasons for Inter. And that's after many players, many great players, so that's another great record for him. So, considering all that, considering how he played, I think I would give him 7. Yeah, it was pretty good for him. So 7 for Lukaku, yeah.
Okay. And
Lautaro, I think, yeah.
Lautaro Martinez.
And Lautaro, okay, just adding about Lukaku, I think the last 9 matches which we have won,
Mm,
Lukaku's stats have been crazy. 8 goals and
mm,
4 assists in the
Hmm.
last
mm,
9 matches which we have won in
mm,
Syria. So that he's been really vital for us. So yeah, he had a tough game saying that, yes. Okay, talking about Lautaro, I would give rating of 6.5.
mm.
He did his groundwork well. He covered a lot of areas. Also, he had a very good curling shot which hit the
Mm.
post.
Yeah, that was
He tried.
unfortunate. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
unfortunate,
unfortunate.
but that was
Unfortunate.
a really good shot. It was a very good technical shot where he just curled in the ball past the keeper.
Mm, mm,
But other than that, he hasn't shot much, and yeah, so 6.5 is good
mm.
for his defensive duties. I would
Yeah,
give that.
yeah.
And
Gotham, coming to subs,
yeah.
I think you should go with Alexis Sanchez if you want.
Yeah, Sanchez is like, I always like the guy. Like when he comes on, like he,
Yeah.
I think if he starts the game, it's more of a
Mm,
tougher thing for him. I think when he comes on,
mm,
he knows he's super sub. He knows what he
mm,
has to do, and
Super sub, yeah.
yeah, and
mm.
the defense are already
Exactly.
tired, and he's the
Mm,
kind of guy like with his pace, with his tricks, like he can get
exactly.
things done. Like he brings the
Yeah.
energy. So I think Sanchez's role like is much more useful because at 65, 70 minutes or whenever he comes in, he brings the energy back to the team. Like when
Yeah.
people are like strolling around, he starts running,
Exactly.
sprinting.
Yeah.
So he gets people up. So
Mm.
Sanchez, I would say six as well.
Mm. Yeah, and the thing with Sanchez is also is that Gotham is that when other players are tired from the opposing team, he really makes a difference. You
Yeah.
see, Joara yesterday had to foul him, like he had no option, like when Sanchez got the run. So yeah, I agree with you, and I will give Gagliardini. Manish, you can go with Darmian after this. I think I'll come to Gagliardini. I think what Conte had to like, I was expecting Sensi to play a role in this game, but then I understand why Gagliardini had to come on so early because you could see Bologna were really creating plays which we couldn't break up, and Gagliardini after coming on did win a lot of free kicks for us. So I think in that sense he was really important, although he did make a one error I think, but I think overall he was pretty decent since he came on, and since you've given Alexis a six. I think I need to keep that in mind. I think I'll give Gagliardini based around that. I think I'll give him a 5.5, but I don't mean it in a bad way because I think he did the job he was expected to do. I think he did a fine job, which was breaking up the play. But Manish, what would you give Darmian?
Talking about Gagliardini and Sensi, I think when you're defending a lead, it's
Hmm.
100% Conte's going to
Yeah,
bring
exactly.
Gagliardini every other time
Yeah,
because of his
definitely.
height advantage to win air duels, also
Yeah.
defending corners. So
Hmm.
Gagliardini and Vecino were the reasons why we got him.
Hmm.
Sensi, yes, when we're losing a match and we need some
Hmm. Hmm.
creative spark, Sensi would come on. Talking about Darmian, I think I would give a standard six. He
Six.
didn't do anything much noticeable. He
Hmm.
helped in place of Ashley Young in that position. He covered that
Hmm.
area
Hmm.
well. So
Yeah,
nothing noticeable, nothing more noticeable from
definitely.
And
Yeah,
coming to the
yeah,
Gagliardini part, like in preview, I was expecting Gagliardini to start,
yeah,
and
yeah. I
and I
remember.
was telling like he should start because we need to play a little dirty. Where against
Yeah,
Bologna, you need to break up the place.
definitely,
You need to do that thing. And when he came on, he did that.
definitely.
I mean, that was
Did that.
expected of him. Like
Yeah,
he's not
agree.
gonna dribble
and
past.
just
He's
that
not
his
gonna do speed.
physical presence is very important, in center of the
Important,
park.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He is not the most liked player, but we have to admit that he can do the job. Like that bit which we need, he's the one who can do it. So it is what
yeah,
it is,
Like,
and he
he's like
as
that.
long as he, yeah. Sorry, Manish.
He's no, he's like that Alfred Duncan type player previously we
Hmm.
had. He pretty
Yeah,
much not much quality, but he get the ball,
yeah,
just clears it
yeah,
out. Just
and
physical
yeah.
presence on the center
Yeah,
of the park.
and it
That's
wasn't
all.
that Ericsson was bad per se. It's just that Conte saw a pattern emerging that Bologna were really pushing because they
mm,
immediately created a chance when the second half began. So he had to do it. And yeah, considering all that, I think we should give a team rating performance now just to put a stat out. This is our, as Manish said, this is a ninth league win in a row, and it's the first time since 2007, of course, under Mancini. And at that time, we set an all-time Serie A record of 17
17
consecutive. Yeah,
consecutive.
so that's crazy. I mean, if I mean that's something like that is what we need right now. I mean, to seal the league before it gets tough. So yeah, I mean that's a tremendous thing. But considering all that, what would you guys give the team performance? I'll just start, and I think considering all the factors we just discussed for every player, everything we've all discussed, I think yeah, I think I'll give it a 6.5. Yeah, I think that's my take because I think it is one of those another one of those days where you have to go out and get a win somehow or the other. So I think I'm giving it a 6.5 and I'm satisfied.
okay. So I would go with the six because, like you said, like it wasn't that good a
Hmm,
performance, but we got the job
hmm,
done. Clean sheet, three
hmm,
points,
hmm,
vital
hmm,
3 points. So I would give it a
hmm,
six.
hmm,
Yeah, I would agree with Gotham. I would go with six too. Again, ugly performance, but 3 points very vital,
hmm,
super
hmm.
vital 3 points. And
And
we didn't do much in the offensive phase, so yeah, that's a well-deserved
what
point.
for and how what do we give Conte for his management of the
Conti
match?
again, I would give a standard six because
Hmm,
the substitutions didn't do anything great, and it was a risky ploy with protecting
hmm,
one goal lead. That it was
hmm.
quite
Yeah,
risky,
yeah.
and especially in the dying moments, it was quite crazy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, man.
yeah, I would give six as well because we are given the player 6 and 5.5, and I think only
Yeah.
Lukaku got over six. So I can't give Conte higher than that. So I would stick with like six for Conte as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'll give him a 6 or yeah, I think 6 is fair enough because as Manish said, he made the right subs at the right time, and apart from that, all he could do is, I mean, as a coach, is of course guide the team as to how they need to shape up, and they did a fantastic job. And I think, yeah, everything was spot on, and yeah, 6 is fair enough in my opinion.
All right. So, folks, that was the review of our match. A crucial win against Bologna, ninth win in a row, 8 points clear with a game in hand. What a amazing season this is turning out to be. So, please do like and subscribe, follow us. We are on other podcasts as well. The links will be given below. Do let us know in the comments what did you think of the win? Like, how many more wins can we string together? And we'll see you soon with the preview of our next game. Forza Inter.
Forza Inter.
Forza Inter.